I'm going to share with a little neck release sequence that I really love for when I'm feeling a lot of sort of that tension headache type sensation. So all we're gonna need today is to find a seated posture, a little bit of elevation. I always like to, if I'm sitting on the floor, just stick a block or a bolster underneath my hips. But you're welcome to do this from a chair or anything a little more elevated. Just come a little bit forward so that the spine has a chance to actually sit up nice and tall. And from there, we're going to take a moment, let the eyes close. Inhale, just really think about that crown of the head, lifting, reaching, growing a bit longer. And then on your exhale, let your chin fall down towards your chest. And we're starting here with a little bit of a benchmark, if you will, getting to know how we are first showing up to our practice, what our tissues are holding today, that as we start to release them, we can get to know sort of the effects of each movement and how it changes and assists in our release. So as the head finds its heaviness here, paying particular attention to how the breath is moving, maybe we can inhale and just feel a bit more height, a bit more space through the spine. Sometimes the shoulders will lift, and that's okay. On your exhale, but see if the shoulders can soften and grow heavy back and down. So most of the time the tension is constantly trying to lift the shoulders up to almost like attach them to our ears. And so we're going to see what we can do to create more space. So ensuring that each exhale lets the head drop down. Let's take 3 more breaths here. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last breath in and out. On your inhale, let your right ear roll over towards your right shoulder, and we're going to just keep our chin tucked down as that right ear rolls over. Now notice as the head rolls over, that opposite shoulder sometimes tries to kind of lift itself up. So take a moment and see if you can drop that shoulder down. You're welcome to even reach around, maybe and grab onto your elbows or onto your forearms if that assists with keeping those shoulders more grounded as we do the release. So keep that chin tucked for a moment and then start to lift through the chin. The right ear staying dropped, letting the chin lift, feeling that stretch start to move through. Likely a little bit more of the front of the neck and throat, keeping the eyes closed. Make sure that you are really breathing, inhaling, exhale. And then when your next inhale finds you, start by taking the chin and almost like you're making a big rainbow across the sky with it. Keep the throat long, keep the neck long. Big stretch across both sides. Keep that chin elevated as the left ear sinks itself down. Pausing. Noticing here as the head starts to go the other way. Perhaps that opposite shoulder is now trying to do something funny on the other side. Couple more breaths. Keeping that chest nice and spacious. And then let's slowly, still keeping left ear over, start to pull your chin down, letting that chin tuck. Holding here, observing what funny little compensations again are happening as we move. It's sort of a constant resetting. Every time we catch something that is trying to assist but not in a helpful way, not judgment, just adjust. Just take that moment to see it for what it is. Everything is connected, and so do that work to sink it back down. Take another inhale. Exhale, let the head roll right back down through center. Head falling heavy again. Take one big breath in and out. Let's go the other direction. So keep that chin tucked. Let the left ear roll over towards the left side, back the way we came. So visiting it again a second time might show us something a little bit different as we start to release. Keep thinking about how you can inhale, broaden maybe across the shoulders, across the back of the neck. Exhale, let that chin still stay tucked, sink the shoulders, let them release away from the ears, taking another breath here. And out. And start by just inhaling the chin up. Left ear staying over. So we're gonna have another little pause right where we are. And notice if you're creating more tension than you're releasing. Sometimes we get a little bit excited, or like we just want it so bad that we're just like really forcing that stretch or really dragging down that shoulder aggressively. Perhaps maybe even dialing it back into just like the tiniest little bit of a soft space. If we kind of slam into those tissues and try and force them to do things, they actually can often resist more than they release for us. So maybe dial it back if you're experiencing some really aggressive tightness. And then on our next breath, our inhale, we're gonna let the chin start to lead all the way up. Take as many breaths as you need. Really, really slowly across the top. Right ear having a drop. Letting the chin stay fairly elevated here. Right ear sitting over. Enjoying your breaths here. Observe, again, this side. Maybe this is the side that creates more tension or less, but are you getting a little bit extra excited about it? Maybe we can find a nice, more gentle release for today, especially if we're really acutely suffering from tightness and soreness in this area. Last inhale where we are. Exhale, start to pull the chin down. As it tucks, again, pause. Notice how the sensation moves. Does it get stronger? Does it release? One more inhale. Exhale, the chin is gonna fall right back down, right where we started. Evenly drop those shoulders again. Another moment to check in. What were they doing that maybe we didn't even realize? Start by inhaling the crown of the head up nice and slow. Let the arms have, and the shoulders, just a bit of a release. So we're going to take two of our fingers here and do a little bit of a self-massage release. So finding this nice ropey muscle in the front of the neck, the SCM, we're just gonna follow it right up to the base of the skull behind the ear, and then we're gonna move into that little soft hollow right behind it. So just using two fingers in that little hollow there, press into the tissues and start by moving the head just through these little side to side wiggles. So how much pressure is really up to you. Taking that idea of less is more, especially if you're really finding like it doesn't take much to bring on some really intense sensations where you're pushing through that finger. So just give yourself a few little side to side here. Notice where that is living, which direction when you move the head. And we will slide the fingers down just a little bit into that next, I don't know, maybe like half an inch or so below where you were. Moving the head softly side to side. So giving a self-massage through just our movement rather than the fingers doing too much playing around, just applying that gentle pressure, releasing the tissues. We're gonna move down one more, so find that nice little hollow slightly below. And you can move slightly more to the front or to the back, up to you. Just find that next spot that feels really good for a little bit of pressure there. Take a couple more. And then we will find our neutral, release the arm down. Inhale the crown of the head nice and tall. Exhale, let the head fall. So back down, just kind of testing sensation and seeing what's new, what's changed. Not a lot of time spent, but perhaps already noticing something that has moved. Again, inhale, nice and tall, rise yourself back up. So let's find, same thing, those 2 fingers, other side, find that nice ropey muscle that reaches right up to the back of the skull, and then we're gonna place the fingers just behind it, that little soft hollow at the base of the skull there. And it's usually a pretty tender place for most of us, especially right up at the top here. So just take your time finding those little side to side motions. Slower is most definitely better than fast here. You're going to be able to affect more change. Couple more. Give yourself a chance to maybe reflect here what this side is sharing with you versus what the other side was. And let's move the fingers down just a tiny little bit into that next space. Eyes can close to really savor your experience. Let's drop those fingers down, just one more little section. So based on what you are discovering on both sides, you might realize that maybe one side or one particular spot needs a little bit of extra love and attention. So this is something that you can come back to and revisit. We are very imbalanced, so don't worry if there is quite a lot there. Okay, let's come back to center release. Take a little wiggle for a moment. Inhale the crown of the head up tall. Exhale, let yourself find that chin dropping all the way down. The head having a moment to release. And for our last pause here, we're just going to interlace the fingers. We're going to place the arms onto the back of the head, not applying a pull, but simply just allowing heaviness through the arms. Now, depending on if you are suffering from a lot of really extreme tension, this might actually be just a wee bit too much for today. So come back to just head dangling all by itself without the arms if this is feeling like it is creating more than it is releasing. Sometimes this happens. For those that are working with the hands or not, we're going to take 5 last breaths right where we are. Inhale. Exhale. See if you can just let gravity act upon the arms, the head, the tissues, rather than pulling. Just let those arms be as heavy as they actually are. Last breath. Release the arms softly, let them rest down. We'll lift through the crown of the head. Give yourself a moment to roll out through the shoulders. Take a pause, eyes closed. Notice maybe where your shoulders are now in relation to your ears. Hopefully they are a little bit more relaxed. Thank you so much for joining me. And until we get to move, heal, breathe once again. Namaste.